Hi guys, we have been learning about forces lately, and today we're going to talk about how you can calculate forces with math. And that's Newton's second law. But first, let's make sure you know what mass is. So this is one of the questions on your assignment. Mass is how much stuff something is made of. So for example, a bowling ball, it's a lot heavier because it's made of more stuff. It has more mass. There's more molecules that make the bowling ball. A soccer ball, it's still made of stuff. It's just made of less stuff. There's a lot of air in the soccer ball, so it has less mass than a bowling ball. So if you haven't yet, on your assignment, that was, let me zoom in a little bit. That was this third question down where it says mass, you need to type what mass is. Let me show you. Mass is how much stuff something is made of. And you can pause the video if you need to. Acceleration is a change in motion. So a lot of the times we talk about acceleration as speeding up. I'm accelerating, I'm going faster. But it could also be slowing down. That's negative acceleration. So acceleration is any change of motion. It could be speeding up or it could be slowing down. That's also a question on your assignment. It's this one at the bottom of this box. Acceleration is a change in motion. Like I said before, if you need to pause it, you can pause it. Okay, so Newton's second law is how we use mass and acceleration to calculate force. So force equals mass times acceleration. You can type that into your assignment as well. This is the top question, okay? So that's in words. Force equals mass times acceleration. And then the equation is our short way of writing it. The short way that we write it is F equals m times a. So you can type that for the equation. F equals m times a. And that means force equals mass times acceleration. So if you have the mass of an object and you have its acceleration, you just times them together and it tells you how much force it's going to hit something with. And we have an example as well. So F equals m times a is the same thing as F equals ma. Because if the m and the a are next to each other, you times them. The more mass an object has, the harder it is to move. For example, a bowling ball, it's harder to move a bowling ball than it is to move a soccer ball. Soccer ball has less mass, and it's easier to move it, okay? The more force you use, the faster an object moves as well. So if I push a bowling ball really hard, or if I roll it really hard, it's going to move faster. That's also something that this equation teaches us. Okay, now you have a table like this on your assignment as well. Your table is right here. And we are going to fill it out now because we put units after a number to be able to tell whether it's the force, the mass, or the acceleration. Okay? So newtons is what we use to measure force. And if we put a capital N after a number, then we know that we're talking about force. For example, you could say that I punched something with 10 newtons. That tells you how hard I punched the thing, 10 newtons. And if we were writing that, we would write 10 capital N. And the capital N tells us that it's force. So newtons is how we measure force, and capital N is the symbol for force. We measure mass usually in kilograms. So if we're saying how much mass something has, we could say it has a mass of 40 kilograms. And kg is what we write after the number in order to know how much mass it has. Acceleration is kind of scary looking at first, but it's not actually that bad. Acceleration is meters per second squared. Meters per second squared. And that means it's telling you how fast it's speeding up or how fast it's slowing down. So for example, I could say I rolled the bowling ball at an acceleration of 2 meters per second squared. And if you see meters per second squared, you know that number is talking about acceleration. And the way we write it, instead of writing it out meters per second squared in words, we do m/s with a little 2 in the corner. That means meters per second squared. That means we're talking about acceleration. And you can always pause the video if you need to. Now let's do an example. This is an example that you also have in your assignment. It is right here in the practice section. So let's do it together. Luke Skywalker, Where is he? Luke Skywalker is driving his car when suddenly the car breaks down. The car has a mass of 1,000 kilograms. He starts pushing the car and it begins accelerating at 4 meters per second squared. How much force is Luke using? So to calculate force, we have to do mass times acceleration. We got to find out the force, and we do mass times acceleration. So first we write the equation we're going to use. So type this, please. F equals ma. That's the same thing as force equals mass times acceleration. That's just our short way to write it. F equals ma. The mass equals 1,000 kilograms. I want you to also type that, okay? Because otherwise we might forget what the mass and the acceleration are. If we type it, it makes it easier for us, okay? So mass equals 1,000 kilograms. Acceleration equals 4 meters per second squared. And that's how you type it. A equals 4m/s. The caret is shift 6. If you hold down shift and type 6, it gives you that caret symbol, which means that the 2 is actually supposed to be up there in the corner. It's supposed to be small, and there is a way to type that, but it's just easier if we just type shift 6. That's faster, okay? So A equals 4m/s, shift 6, 2. If you need to pause the video, you can. Now we add those numbers into the equation. So the equation was force equals mass times acceleration. So we're going to type it out, but instead of typing mass and acceleration, we're going to type the numbers. So force equals 1,000 kilograms instead of m, 4 meters per second squared instead of a. So type that out. 1,000 kilograms times 4 meters per second squared. Now we just use a calculator. We do 1,000 times 4, and that's 4,000. But we can't just type 4,000. We have to put a capital N at the end because it's a force. So force equals 4,000 newtons. You got to put the capital N at the end, okay? I'm going to go back for a second. So if you need to pause the video now, you can, to make sure you know how to do that. But it's just mass times acceleration, basically. 1,000 times 4. Pretty easy, right? But I want you to write it out this way so that you don't forget how to do it. Okay, now I want you to try this one, and if you pause the video and try it, that would be the best. A meteor is falling from the sky towards Luke Skywalker's home planet, Tatooine. The meteor has a mass of 35 kilograms and is accelerating at 2 meters per second squared. How much force will the meteor hit with? So we're calculating force. I want you to pause it now and try it the same way we did our first one, okay? Now, if you've unpaused the video, let's go through it and make sure that you know the right way to do it. So first you type the equation, which is force equals mass times acceleration, but the short way to type it is F equals ma. Force equals mass times acceleration. Now we got to type the mass. The mass is 35 kilograms. I know that because the question said it. We type the acceleration, which is 2 meters per second squared. Again, to type that little caret, you type shift 6. So you type 2m/s, shift 6, and then another 2. And the caret means that the 2 is small in the corner. Now we put in the mass and the acceleration into the equation. So force equals 35 kilograms instead of m, 2 meters per second squared instead of a. Force equals 35 kilograms times 2 meters per second squared. You can use a calculator. 35 times 2 is 70, and you have to put newtons at the end, okay? Force equals 70 newtons, and that's the answer. Okay, so you did that, hopefully. Now they're doing it again. Okay. All right, so that's the end of that, but I want to show you, you still have a question you need to do. You need to complete the practice problems and take a picture of your worksheet when you're done, and you take a picture in this box here, okay? The practice problems are at the top where it says worksheet. So you click on that, it opens up the Star Wars Newton's second law practice. Okay, I'm going to zoom in so you can see. So you do these questions, there's only 7. You do those questions in your science notebook, and then you take pictures of them in this last box. And that's the end, that's the last thing. So after that, you submit it on Canvas. Good luck.